no bad questions. All right, I want to introduce a really good friend and also somebody that I've known for a long time. I am talking with a gentleman who I believe very clearly is very well suited for this conversation. So this is Brian Jessen, and Jessen, Brian here with Wintrust Mortgage, correct?
I am. Good morning. Yep. Celeste,
Good.
Wintrust Mortgage.
Good. And with that said, one of the things that I always ask people is, could you just take a quick moment and tell me a little about your backstory? Who are you? How did you get going in this business?
Sure. So it's Brian Jessen. I'm with Wintrust Mortgage. Back when I was in college, I actually thought I was going to move to Boston or New York and work in investment banking. So that was kind of my mind. I really didn't even know what it was, but it sounded like something I was very interested in. And then what happened during college, the economy took a turn for the worse. And all my friends that had taken those jobs the year before all got laid off. So I was like, uh-oh, this is not a good time to go into that. And I'm from Chicago, and I started looking around jobs in Chicago, and there were a number of banking positions open with a lot of really solid banks that I'd heard of over the years. And one was like a rotational program. Each 6 months, you tried something and kind of went around to different parts of the bank. And the part that gravitated towards was lending. I really liked the idea of helping individuals, helping people, kind of get organized, get going on their journey for real estate, and helping them along the way, because it could be overwhelming and confusing with so much information out on the internet, some very good, some completely inaccurate. So it's almost like there's information overload. So I enjoy over my career helping people do that and many other things in the lending world when it comes to personal finances.
Excellent. Well, and that kind of leads me to the reason that we're having this conversation is because I've known you for a number of years. And we just recently had a conversation where my brother, who is a contractor, said one of his challenges is that he does not have people with their financials in order for them, that they want to do a project, like they want to do an improvement of a basement, they want to remodel a basement, or they want to improve maybe a deck, or they want to have a home remodel of the kitchen, but the money situation isn't there. So that's why they pass on even using him. And he said the hard part is he doesn't have the freedom or the wherewithal to give them counsel on this. Whereas I know someone like yourself, this is a perfect wheelhouse for you as far as how do you help people. So would you do me a favor? I'm just going to say generically, if someone came to you and they said, I want to do a home improvement project, what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I'd ask them what exactly they mean by that. What things are they thinking of doing? Like, kind of what's their, like, for sure things they'd love to do, and like what's their wish list items are of that they want to do. Then I'll say, we can look at what that's you think it's going to cost, and then we can plan for perhaps it being more than that. We can get them pre-approved so they have an idea what they qualify for, and then the actual execution of it. Part of it be talking to someone like your brother to say, what is all these items going to cost? There's a lot of times people tell me a number, and maybe they say it's going to be $100,000 to do this, and I'm like, how did you come up with that? And they can't really tell you specifically why if they haven't spoken to anybody yet. And usually we'll plan for more than that. And the way we will structure it will be sort of pre-approving them for a dollar amount, maybe on the high side. And there's different ways we can go about it. One, if it's a more major project, we'll do it as what's called a one close construction renovation loan. And what that means is we do pay off the existing mortgage. So if you have a 2% mortgage, it's a little painful. But if you have something north of 4 or 5, it's not so painful. And we actually will lend money based on the future value of what that house is going to be worth. So Celeste, like you said, there could be people that income wise could definitely qualify to carry the project and carry the debt and what the payments look like, but they don't necessarily have 100, 200,000 laying around to do the renovation or even more than that. So this is lending money based on what the project's going to be worth in the future through a draw process where the money goes out as the project's getting completed through a title company. And at the end, they have this mortgage at a guaranteed worst interest rate. So no matter what happens during the project, if rates go sky high, they have no exposure. And then if rates get better at the end of the project, we obviously either modify the rate, lower, or we refinance it to a different product. So that's one way to do it. Another one would be if it's a smaller project, maybe it's not 100, 200, 500, whatever. We could possibly do it with a home equity credit line on their existing house with the existing value. But again, you don't have to give up that 2 or 3% mortgage. You can keep that in place. And then this is a line of credit and it's based on the current value. And then you draw the money as you need the money and you pay interest only as you draw the money as you need the money. Then at the end of it, we'd probably revisit how everything went, how the budget was, what they ended up borrowing. And maybe it would make sense at that point to possibly combine the mortgages together, or maybe not. Maybe we could keep the home equity the way it is. There's a way to convert it to something that's fixed with a fixed payment, much like an auto loan or a student loan. So we talk about those options as they get, the project under wraps and completed, and see if they should keep what they have, or maybe perhaps look at some other options. So it's kind of an ongoing dialogue, with them. It's how the project's going, how the budget's going, and what are options at the end of the project for them.
So I do have a question. On the larger loan that you were talking about, would that be what are you thinking that is the 203K loan, or is that something else?
Well, there's so many options that we probably don't want to get into all of them, but there's things for an FHA type of loan. There's one where it's not an FHA, it's a normal conventional loan. It's called construction to permanent loan. There's another one that's a renovation loan through an agency called Freddie Mac. And then for really, really bigger projects, since Wintrust is a bank, a mortgage company, and a bank, there's certain advantages to that. And one is we can portfolio loans. We can put them on our balance sheet because we're a bank. And there's some banks that won't do these kind of projects. Any of the really big banks won't do construction lending and renovation lending at any sort of scale.
Mm-hmm.
We can put it on our books, and if it's a bigger project, if you just simply want to build a home, or you look at a place to buy and they're looking with you, and they really like the land, they really like the neighborhood, and it turns out to be a very major renovation, or even they decide to tear down that home and build a new home, that's called a one close construction or a renovation loan for the larger projects. And again, that rate is fixed all through the project. It's interest only on what you borrow and what you borrow. In fact, if we pay off their mortgage that they have now, that part of it becomes interest only during the project as well. Or if they're building a house, they've already got a house. So if they're building something that's a little bit more stressful to have two payments, so the one that's being built is an interest only payment during the build period. So there's a lot of good options to talk with people about it, but I think it starts with having a conversation, what things they are thinking they want to do, kind of the for sure things they want to do, the wish list items of things they want to do, make sure the budget for them income wise is comfortable, and then start talking to professionals about the actual scale of that project, how much it's actually going to cost. And it is a little intimidating in that because you think it might be one number and turns out to be quite a bit more. But if you
Mm-hmm.
get down to actually what it costs you on a monthly basis, a lot it's less stressful than people think. Like you said, it seems overwhelming. There's a lot of unknowns, but our job is to help clarify that so they feel comfortable. And maybe they wait. Maybe they decide to hold off for a year or two to save some more money, or maybe they scale down the project. I had one in a suburb where they ended up just scaling back the project a little bit. Still got all the things they really wanted for the for sures, and scale
Mm-hmm.
some of the things were more wish list items, and they might make that phase two, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and do phase two. So we can even do that where we kind of break it into chunks and do the things you absolutely have to do, and then plan smartly so that maybe you don't have to undo things you just did to do the next phase of the project, and maybe that's down the line a little bit to keep the budget in order.
That's good to hear. Are there any restrictions as far as the contractor that they work with?
No, in fact, actually, if they have experience at their own, they can even be their own general contractor too. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that if you're I have a little bit of background in construction because my father was an architect, so I did project management and construction. So I have a decent background and understanding, what the steps are. But if you're,
Mhm.
let's say, a doctor, you don't know anything about construction and construction land and managing projects. So it's probably not a good idea for that person to be their own general contractor, but there are people that have experience in it, and you could be your own general contractor, or you can hire a carpenter that's like the main carpenter on your project to be your general contractor too, to save some money. So I think it depends on the situation.
Okay, okay. Is there any questions or things you want to add to this that I have not asked you?
No, I think we can do it anywhere in the nation, which is kind of nice. So no matter where your audience is, and it can also be for second homes if someone wants to do that. The one project, the construction of permanent product that's nationwide, is even for investment properties. So if somebody is looking to build up kind of investment portfolio, you can use that project, that financing for even investment projects. So it can be primary homes, second homes, even investment properties. So it's a little bit more expansive than people realize.
Good to hear. I didn't know that either, so I'm kind of glad to just have you say that. I think sometimes just being open about what options are available are a great beginning for somebody who's going to reach out because sometimes they don't know it's even something possible. So they don't, in most cases, people don't want to get outside their comfort zone unless there's an opportunity that, okay, I can do it on my primary residence, I can do it on an investment property, or even a second residence. So I feel like, this is a really good start with a video. And Brian, if you're good, I'm going to invite you to come back because I want to start another conversation and continue. I think a lot of people need to learn about what's out there, what's available to them.
I'll just wear a new sweater each time. So it looks like and do it that way. But no, there's a lot of
And
things.
I'll wear another sweatshirt or whatever this is.
Yeah, and we were talking about different games we like to play as kids, so we'll continue that
Yeah,
conversation. But I think there's
definitely.
topics that we could break down in small chunks, really help people out. I think the main thing, I think I could do any job as long as I felt like I was giving people really good advice and doing whatever's best for them. And
Mhm.
this just could be, maybe it's something you have to save a little bit more. Maybe you have to get one more bonus in order to do this, or whatever it might be. But the planning part of it really helps people see the end goal of what they want and how to get there.
So I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to say to anybody that is watching, we are welcoming you to reach out and give a call. I'm going to have Brian's information in the description below the video. So if you do want to give him a call, you can call him direct. Or if you want to reach out to me and ask me questions, let me ask you, whatever it is that you have a concern about, if you're thinking that you're afraid to ask, we've heard it. We've heard it before. So there is nothing you can ask that's not acceptable to us. I guess I would say that I have to qualify that comment. But I do want to say that a lot of our clients typically they ask the same questions every single time. So there isn't a bad question. Don't hesitate to call us. We would be happy to help you.
Happy
Okay?
and make you feel comfortable. And really, that's the main thing, is to really don't feel like your questions are not good questions. So like Celeste said, it really helps us to understand your situation better as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate this. And we'll look forward to talking with you once more.
It was
Okay?
good to hear, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
Celeste.
you.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye.